memory I will always see Charlestown that I have loved so well, where we played half-ball by the old Wiggy's wall, watched movies at the Hippie under the elm.
Hi, welcome to Charlestown and Beyond. I'm Kathy Cookie Giordano, your host. I'm happy you could join me tonight. This week's show will celebrate Charlestown. We'll travel through photo and video galleries that will take us from current events to the beginning of the 20th century, and a visit to today's historic sites we are all so proud of. Features will include the National Park's visit to the Harvest on Vine food pantry, two of Paul Lane's wonderful videos, and a visit with Eddie Lone, who will share his expertise on the historic Charlestown through a recent walk he took through the town. Let's begin at the Harvest on Vine food pantry. At the end of January, I joined the wonderful volunteers at the food pantry when Tom McDonald and Pastor Reverend Jim Ronan opened the doors to all federal employees from Charlestown or who worked in Charlestown who were affected by the government shutdown. By that time, almost all of them had missed 2 paychecks. Through the overwhelming generosity of the people and businesses of Charlestown, the food pantry was able to help restock their kitchen cabinets and refrigerators with a total of over 4,000 pounds of food. It included milk, eggs, fresh vegetables, chicken, pork, hamburger, and hot dogs, plus an assortment of canned goods and packages of rice, spaghetti, and much more. Members of the National Park Service, U.S. Coast Guard stationed in the North End, and other government agencies were not only thrilled to receive these gifts, but more than that, they were so thankful that the Charlestown neighborhood was thinking of them. I can't tell you how many handshakes and hugs were exchanged between the volunteers and the workers. The smiles on their faces spoke volumes. Let's look at some of the photos that were taken that day. Here we go. That's myself and my nephew, Chris O'Shea. He's been working at the National Park for quite a while, and he came that day to load up trucks that would go back into the Navy Yard for the volunteers to pick up. Here we go. Here's Chris and one of the volunteers down at the pantry. That's Bobby Smith. He's been volunteering for a long time, and he usually shows up on days when he knows there'll be heavy lifting. It turned out that Bobby was Chris's basketball coach during Chris's high school years. They had a great reunion, really, 2 great guys. Now this photo shows the dignitaries, if you will, who were there that day. From left to right, that is Michael Creasy, the superintendent of the National Park. And then that is Tara Healy. She's the sister of Maura Healy, our Attorney General, who was on her way to the food pantry but got caught in traffic outside Boston. She couldn't get through to us in time. And there he is, Tom McDonald, the director of the food pantry. And that's newly placed city councilor, Aletha, how was her name? Garrison, Alcia Garrison. And next to her is our senator and Sal DiDomenico, and then the pastor, Reverend Jim Ronan. Also there that didn't get in the photo for some reason was our representative, Danny Ryan. And to see them just roll up their sleeves and just pitch right in and carry out cases of food to the vans waiting outside to be taken to the Navy Yard was just so wonderful to see. Here's Superintendent Michael Creasy thanking the volunteers and all that showed up, and telling everybody how thankful the National Park Service employees were, and especially how wonderful it was that the people and the businesses in Charlestown cared for the National Park Service. Now there's Tom McDonald, our director, and one of his frequent trips out to check on the distribution, and great guy, really a great guy. And here I am, hello. So that was great. And on behalf of the everyone involved, from the volunteers to the director, to the pastor, to the recipients from the National Park Service, Coast Guard, and others, thank you, Charlestown, for your generosity. Now let's take a trip back in time when Charlestown entered the 20th century through the delightful talent of Paul Lane. While you enjoy Paul's video, look for the clothing, the means of transportation, the celebration decorations in honor of the annual Bunker Hill Day, and the magnificent structures that are long gone. So here we go. Paul calls this Old Town. Here we go. Wasn't that wonderful? Did you recognize a lot of the buildings that are still standing today? That was just magnificent. Now this next video from Paul shows the construction of the elevator structure from City Square down Main Street into Thompson Square. When it was complete, it darkened the streets below and eventually caused it to look like a blighted area. And notice how close the train tracks came to the buildings on Main Street. Let's venture back to the construction of the old L. Thank you, Paul. That was just wonderful. Thankfully, the yell is gone now. It's been gone since 1975. And the town in that area has been restored to its glory. Thank you, Paul. So, to end out the show today, and it's a great ending, that brings us up to a look at the many historic sites that we see around the town and are so proud of. To do this, I'm happy to welcome back Eddie Lone, a local photographer and historian. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Cookie. It's great to be back on Charlestown and beyond. As you know, I've lived in Charlestown all my life, and I'm very passionate about history and photography. And I was able to combine the two and share those with people through my business, Imagine Photography by Eddie Lone. So basically what I do is I offer history walks and photo walks. So not only can you find out about the amazing history of Boston, but you can also walk away with some amazing photographs. It's interesting to note that over 3 million people every year come to Boston to walk the Freedom Trail. So not only do I get to interact with many of our visitors, but I also get to interact with and work with many native Bostonians. So I invite people to grab your camera, and all skill levels are welcome. Or if you're not a photographer, grab your walking shoes and just join me for just an amazing journey through Boston. And I'm really, really happy to be able to share my passion, and it is passion, and it's a love for Boston, my city. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is just the unique perspective. What makes me different from other people who offer similar services? I have a very unique perspective. I've lived in Boston all my life. I know the city, I know the history, I know the angles to get the good shots. So it's going to be unique, and it's not only going to be about the American Revolution, it's going to be about Boston and beyond. So I'll bring you up to the present day. So it's always fun, and it's amazing. I've done it 1,000 times, and I love it every single time. So I invite anyone who wants to journey with me back to Puritan Boston, to present-day Boston, and learn history or take some photographs. It's going to be an amazing journey. So if anybody had any questions that they would like to contact me, or if they wanted to find out about pricing or availability, you can contact me at eddieloanboston@gmail.com. eddieloanboston@gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook, Imagine Photography by Eddie Loan. And I'm so excited. I'm not a tech person, but I'm new to Instagram. So my girlfriend Elizabeth got me all set up with that. So yeah, if people would like to look at my Instagram, Imagine Photography by Eddie Loan, please follow me. But currently I have over 100 photographs on there, so you can get a feel of Charlestown, of Boston, and beyond. So today, I brought along some photographs that I'd like to share with you. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I did taking them. So we're going to put up on the screen some of my photography, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank
That
you,
was
Cookie.
absolutely gorgeous. That was beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
here we are both on the screen. Those photos are wonderful. Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness gracious.
Thank you
it's
very
good to have
much.
you back this week.
It's always great to be back, and I want to say thank you to you and to the wonderful staff at BNN TV. They always do a great job, and it's always a pleasure, and I hope I can come back again sometime.
Well, we'll see. I hope you come back real soon. well, that's it for tonight, folks. And I'm so glad that you could be with us, and I hope you enjoyed the journey through time of Charlestown. So until next time, I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'm going to ask all of you in Charlestown to please take care of one another. Remember the Harvest on Vine Food Pantry in your generosity, and until next time in 2 weeks, good night.
As a townie in City Square, why not bring back City Square? Lots of action there. There was nothing quite so fair as Dot's Diner in City Square.